Hi there, I'm verified champion trader Kevin Davey, and today I'm going to talk about how my house almost burned down and how it relates to trading. So let's get to it. Today I'm going to share with you a quick story of how my house almost burned down and how it relates to trading. Because you might think, how did those two relate? Well, I'll show you. So we're doing a little work at my house, and my wife wanted to get what's called a linear fireplace. It's a natural gas burning fireplace. Here's a picture of it burning. This is something that you can have somebody install it for you, or you can install it yourself. So I kind of thought about that for a while, and I thought, well, maybe I could do it. And, because, hey, I'm sort of handy. This isn't exactly me, but I like to think it is a little bit. Except I'm always losing my tools, so I probably need some of those tool belts and stuff. But I thought about doing it, and then I thought a little bit more, and I said, well, hey, you're bringing in a box, basically, into your house that you're intentionally setting a fire inside of it. Do you really want to be doing that yourself? Is introducing fire to my house something I want to do? Well, I could end up like that, and I didn't want to end up with that. I decided to get professional help with this, okay? And that's lesson number one with this whole fiasco. Realizing I couldn't do it myself, I needed help. And how it relates to trading, hey, you're building algo strategies and you're running into difficulties. Maybe you've had some market losses. At some point, you might want to consider, well, maybe I need an expert to help guide me on this and to help me out. Now, you could do it yourself. Maybe you'll be fine, but you're playing with fire, literally. Um, at least I was. And with your trading account, you don't want it to burn up. So maybe finding somebody to help you is a good lesson. So next, I decided, since, hey, I'm going to find somebody to help me, I spent a lot of time. I found a very safe fireplace. I found a really good installer. I made sure there was backup equipment, and that was all included. And I made sure electricians who were doing some wiring right in that area knew what the requirements were for this, because there were specific requirements for installing these fireplaces to make sure that they don't catch things on fire. Okay, so I made sure everybody knew what the rules were and the requirements were. Basically, what I had done was I'd put together a solid plan. I had contingencies, backup. My backup was really getting an overheat switch, where if the fireplace got too hot, it would just turn itself off. That's a nice backup switch. That was lesson two, having the plan and the backup. And if you're going to trade, here's how it relates. You've got to create a solid trading plan. You've got to have things like kill switches. What if something really bad happens and your strategies start losing money? Well, you better have a kill switch to turn it off before your account runs dry. Things like that. I had all that out of the way. Then, before I went live, I decided to do some test runs. And what happened was the overheat switch kept tripping and the flames kept going out. So I got with the fireplace manufacturers and we were going over stuff. And as part of this, they had me kept resetting. They said, well, it might just be burning in. You just reset it and do it again. While I was doing it, I noticed this right above the fireplace. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but it's peeling paint from overheating. This was actually concrete wallboard here. So you can imagine how hot it was that it was causing this. This is the peeling paint. So literally, the wall was so hot, it was peeling paint. So it was pretty close to a full out fire. As you can imagine, I was really freaked out about this, because here I had gotten an expert, I had a plan, I had all this contingency stuff, and I still almost caught the house on fire. It probably wasn't too far if the overheat switch just decided not to work or whatever. Peeling paint is not a good thing when you have a fireplace, okay? And then I decided to investigate, and I found some more issues. I looked down into the cavity behind the fireplace. So the fireplace is actually this silver thing, and we're looking down, and you can see there's wires. Well, there's not supposed to be any wires. The wires are supposed to be tucked into the wall. And actually, if you look at this picture on the left, the wire was actually laying on top of the fireplace case that says warning, risk of fire. So luckily these wires didn't catch on fire, but I was told a little bit later by the electrician that there was a good chance that these could have caught on fire. Some were electrical lines, some were internet cable. So pretty bad, right? That leads me to lesson number 3 with this. You know, I had help, I had everything done right, but ultimately it was still my responsibility. It's my house. You know, the electricians, they're great and they try to do a good job. The fireplace installers try to do a good job, but ultimately I'm the one living there, and my kids are the ones living here, and it's ultimately my responsibility. So I probably didn't do enough double checking of things, and that's something I should have done. How it relates to trading, pretty simple. Understand everything you're doing. If you're kind of hesitant, you don't understand maybe futures rollovers, or you don't understand why a strategy's trading the way it is, remember, it's your money. You have to treat it like it's gold, which it really is, right? You got to understand everything. Relying on experts to help you, hey, that's great, but ultimately it's your money and you're the one holding it, and you're the one who could lose it. So that's a great lesson. I followed it, and then I probably didn't follow it with the fireplace at the very end, where I didn't get into details until I saw the peeling paint. Then I got into the details, and then I made sure that the fireplace install was 100% correct. I made sure all the wires were correct and tucked in and everything was right. It took a little more effort on my part, but now I have confidence that it's going to work and it's not going to give me any problems. And that was the end result. I got everything fixed. We had to cut some walls into walls and rewire things, but everybody understood the plan, everybody executed to it, and then there was no more fire hazard. And that's lesson number 4. We followed the rules, and we double and triple checked, probably even quadruple checked. And if you're trading, you got to remember that. Don't cut corners when you're developing a strategy. If you have a process, follow it. Make sure you do things correctly. And if you don't know how to do things correctly with building a strategy, well, then maybe you go up to lesson number 1 and admit you need some help and find somebody to help you. But if you do all these lessons and you follow this in your trading, you're going to be in pretty good shape. And you're not going to be like I almost was with this fireplace installation. You got to realize that trading is just like playing with fire. It can hurt just as much. Might not physically hurt you and burn you, but it'll burn through your account if you improperly trade. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Do you think this was a pretty good analogy of fire and trading? I think it was. It made me think a lot about my trading. I'm Kevin Davey. Have a great day.